Testing, mic, testing. If you can hear me, if you are in and able to hear me, please give me a thumbs up. A thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me. That would be good. And even better, if you could just write something and say hello. When you're in, do write hello. Yes, I can see people logging in right now. Yes. Please introduce yourself and say hi. Yeah, I can put your message up. I'm just testing, and we have 20 seconds to live. Okay, I'm counting down 20 seconds to me going live with you. And just please say hello when you're in. You can hear me well. Okay, we are going to go live. Right. Okay, 10 seconds. 9. Hello, Andy. Nice to have you. And Samantha, welcome back. Hello, Jacqueline. Very good to see all of you. Yes, I'm going to start the ball rolling right now. Okay. Right. Welcome, everyone. We're going to start right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back, some of you. And it's really indeed a pleasure. Let me see who else is in. Yes, Ludi, well and clear. Thank you for the feedback. Very nice, very nice. Okay, now, could you all just hit the like button and the heart shape? The heart button, the like button, hit it so that, I can see it working as well on my screen. Could you just hit the thumbs up button and also the heart? I like to see that floating up. Really nice. Yes, I can see that going up. Can y'all see it? I'm not sure. Yes, but I'm seeing more and more of the hearts and the thumbs up coming up. Really nice. Hi, good to see you. Yes, Ludi, thank you for the feedback. Yes, tonight we have a big topic, isn't it? Reading, well, by popular demand. Hi, Rasha. Nice to have you back. Yes, Raisha is from, I think you're from the Philippines, right, Raisha? Yes, welcome back. Yes, tonight we have a big topic. Yes, I've been busy shifting office. Hello, Isa. Hello, good to see all of you. Yeah, busy shifting office today, dealing with the contractors. So yes, and I have sent out my notification a bit later today, but well, I'm really glad to see all of you back. Very nice, very nice. And then I'm good to see some of my friends in here as well. Maria, welcome back. Welcome in. I think some of you were in my previous live streaming session. And today is, I can't count already how many lives I've been doing, but it's a pleasure. And you know what? You all are my motivator, my inspiration, because every time I come back in live, you're with me. And I know that people are benefiting from what I'm sharing. So, it is really a reason why I'm back. I really rushed back from a very busy day. Now that the lockdown's kind of over, right? And our center is shifted to a nicer, bigger place. And so, very busy today. It's good to be back, and I'm all ready to talk about reading. This was the hot topic that was asked for last week. I kind of contemplated because parents, usually I talk about, hello, Michelle. Yeah, usually I talk about reading in my live webinar, or when I do a live on-site preview session with parents, because I'm very careful when I talk about reading. I'll tell you the reason why, okay? I'm just going to put up my topic today. Can your baby or toddler really read, right? Can babies and toddlers really read? Why I avoid actually, without base to talk about reading is because I don't want parents to be too anxious actually really about, reading or trying to school their children too early. And many people actually perceive reading as a school topic. That is why I avoid talking about reading too early. Okay, and if your child is below 3, I find you have to understand it from the right perspective. Okay, and for those parents just join me, welcome in. Give me a thumbs up, type something to say hi, so I know who you are. It's really nice to know you by name. Like tonight, we have so many parents who are in here, and I really know many of you by name already. And it's really nice tonight. We have Randy, Samantha, Jacqueline. Yeah, and at least I know that I'm not talking just to the screen, but there's really live people over there, looking out, right? And Jolene, yes, Jolene, welcome back. I do see you watching as well. Very nice. So I'm going to carry on. We talk about reading. Okay, now I must say that this is a very difficult topic to talk about. It's easy for me to talk when I have a more established audience, but I will still try to do it because I want to have you to for parents who are here and also parents who are going to watch my replay. Okay, I must start by telling you that do not be anxious, do not be too quick to judge your child or too quick to expect reading capability. But there are ways that babies really learn can read really young, and I'm going to give you all the reasons for that. Okay, and I have actually met quite a number of parents who are here actually who are already enrolled in my Early Brain Academy program, so they understand and they heard about the brain. But each time my parents also feedback to me that each time they join our life, they get new insights. They get affirmation, they get assurance, and so yes, welcome back in as well. And tonight I think I have a new friend with us. Fatmatu J. Williams. I hope I've quoted your name correctly. And so, and our topic is talking about can babies and toddlers really read? And, I know some of you might have seen on even Facebook ad or somewhere where you really see babies and toddlers really reading. Yes, they can. And says, yes, they can. But on what basis? Okay. So tonight I'm going to unfold a lot and each talk, my baby talk, I'm so glad that parents are telling me that they learn so much and it's rich. And it really, tells me that I'm doing something that benefits you, doing something right. And that's really a delight to know. So tonight, I'm just going to go right into the topic, okay? And do feel free to type in your questions, and I will do my best to address it. All right, you will see me slanting to my left. It's because I run another screen to see your questions. Because when I'm on my computer, I can't really see your comments. Okay, so yes, and and we have Vikia in. Gazelle, welcome back. Yes, okay. Now I'm going to go right into my first part of my sessions today, okay? And could I ask you to just hit your the thumbs up or the heart shape button so that I could really appreciate that you are really live, because that really gives show some live on the other side besides the typing. I'm not sure if you all have done live for yourself as well. When you do live, it is quite lonely because you're talking to yourself, and you can't see the reactions of the audience. And in fact, the heart shape that you put up and your response really tells me that you're learning. Okay, so parents, this session is going to be very interactive. So I do appreciate your typing and and when I ask you to respond, it is because I want to know that you're really learning. And when you act on it, when you're tapping, at least I know you're actively learning, you're putting in something. And when you type, you remember, okay? And that's why I'm asking for some action on your side. And thank you. And tonight, yes, we have many more parents coming in, and it's really nice. And usually I do ask you to type in the age of your child, and that's without fail, because although some of you may be my regulars, but I like all of you to interact amongst yourself as well, so that, you know, when you ask certain question and when you introduce yourself, right, it's nice. Okay, we have a community, really nice community here. Yeah, Vicky, thank you for that. I appreciate your your encouragement here. Now, parents, type in your baby's age, okay, by month, all right, so that at least I know where you are, and when you ask certain question, I can address it more specifically, like what I usually do. Okay, so do type in your baby's age if you could by month. Okay, so as I talk along, you just type in so that I can better address your issues. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to talk about today is the neurological pathways to reading. Yes, okay, I can see that Wendy has a 10-month-old, okay. Jacqueline, yes, Jacqueline's about 2.5, right, coming, yes. And Vicky is 8 months. Very good, very good. All of you are learning so early, and you know that whatever you learn, your child is going to benefit, right? It's for life, okay, parents. What you learn here is actually establishing your child for life. All right. So I'm very proud of all of you. And I know Samantha is actually a preschool teacher. All right. Yes, right. She's 22 months. And yes, very nice, very nice. And Samantha, can I ask, is your 6-year-old reading reading well as well? Is your 6-year-old? Oh, what happened? Sorry, something has just gone quite wrong. Okay. Has your 6-year-old, okay, grandson? Wow, very nice. That Tina, right? I hope I read your name correctly for your grandchild. Very nice. Okay, now parents, yeah. Samantha, when you say not at all, means that I was asking the question whether the 6-year-old is reading, and you said not at all. Can you affirm that? Because it's quite a surprising answer actually. But you're saying not really reading. Okay, now talk about neurological pathways. Okay, parents, my session is always quite scientific because I, read a lot about neuroscience and also study the psychology of the early brain. So I hope you all don't mind, because, some people just don't like to talk about science. Just tell me what to do, tell me how to do, But I said you must understand the basis of what we're talking about, because if you do not understand, right, then you're not getting to the root of the issue. Okay, parents, we're talking about the root of the issue. Okay. Okay, understand. All right. And yeah, wow. Okay, Connie, welcome. 21 months. Okay, good. I'm really, really glad to see all the age, because you're all in the right time to learn this. And I hope I'm giving you facts to also manage your own expectations, because parents, sometimes we get a bit anxious when we hear other people, right? So, okay, now let's start. Now, neurological pathway. When we say neurological, of course, it's got to do with the brain, right? So I'm going to just show you this, and I'm going to do a poll, okay, parents? I have to manage many systems here at one time. Now, let me show you this diagram. Okay, I'm going to do a little test. I need all your participation. And parents, I think when you type the community, those of us who are actually logged in now, of course, parents watching replay will enjoy seeing our interaction. But I believe that with your typing in, you see each other's baby's age and so on. Isn't it nice? If it's nice, you agree with me, right? You say, yes, I really love it, because, not just me talking, but mommies interacting with mommies asking questions, other mommies learning. I'm so happy to see that kind of community. And I hope I can continue to build this community. Okay, and do welcome. No, Farisa, you haven't, but you have missed some part where I did some introduction and so talking to parents. No, you have not. We are going to talk about neurological pathways to reading, and I was just going to show you this diagram. And parents, can you tell me, right, when I show this diagram and I talk, can you hear me? Okay, if you can, you say can hear. Okay, now I'm going to continue talking. Now, looking at this diagram, okay, let me take this away. Okay. Looking at this, of course, you know that it is the 5 senses, right? Which is seeing, hearing, nose, mouth, and touch. Okay. Can I ask, could you hear me? when I put on because I've not done this before, where I put on a slide. You can hear when I put on the slide, right? Okay, thank you, Jacqueline. That's good. That's good. So that I can show you something, I can talk at the same time. In the past, I wasn't sure. So whenever I show a slide, right, a picture, I kept quiet, so I can talk at the same time. Excellent. Thank you, Isa. Nice. So I'm going to bring back the banner so that at least I can continue talking. Okay, looking at this visual. Okay, so you see, we have this. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I see your feedback. Now, seeing, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Now, parents, can I ask you to take a poll, right? Okay, for reading, of course, do you think smelling does play a part in reading? These are all the 5 senses that sit in the brain, okay? They actually sit, right, is a sensory part of our brain. So actually reading does require some of these pathways, and I like you to participate so that, when you participate, we talk about it, right? Well, you learn better. So tell me, which of these 5 sensories, right, you think helps in reading? Okay, now take a poll. If you see here, right, can you see my cursor? Now tell me, can you see my mouse pointing at the eyes? Yes. Okay, eyes. Okay, see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Okay, so these are the 5 senses: see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Okay, so tell me if you are able to identify, right, the pathways to reading. Yes, which are the pathways to reading? So could you just type down, what do you think are the pathways that that would help a child to read? Do you think is the smell? Is it the taste, right? The touch? Okay, let me see, right? It's nice to see what you say, okay? Samantha says see, hear, touch. Okay, you cannot see my cursor. Thank you, Yuki. Thank you for letting me know. So I just have to talk. I can't be like a teacher pointing the slide for you, but you understand, you can follow me, right? Okay, good. And Wendy also says see, hear, touch. Okay, Gazelle says see, hear, touch. Wow, I think it's pretty common feel that is a seeing, hearing, and touch, right? Right. For reading, the pathways to reading actually are the 2 key pathways. There are 2 key pathways. Okay, but I think many think touch is also for reading. Well, touch comes later. Okay, touch is a sensory, yes, but critically, right, the critical pathways in the brain that actually helps a child to read, right? Let me show you. Okay, are actually the seeing and hearing pathway. Okay, seeing and hearing. All right. So when you actually tell the child, right? Okay. Let me come to this. Right. When you actually show a child, okay, this word that I'm going to put up. All right. Can you see this? When you show your child, mommy, mommy, right? Mommy, mommy. When you tell a baby, look, baby, look, this says mommy. Well, baby sees mommy and baby sees the word, right? This is how mommy sounds. Mummies look like that. Okay. Mommy can look like mommy, gazelle mommy, but the word mommy is a symbol, right? That shows mommy. So actually it is seeing and hearing. All right. To learn to read is for seeing and hearing. All right, parents? So can you say see and hear, right? Well, I want you all to understand that. Then I will come to the point to help you understand how to teach a baby to read. Okay, how babies actually can read. It's not about going to school, parents. Please don't think of reading as in going to school. Okay, for some people, right, who heard, when I talk about babies can read, they say, oh, you're hot house baby, and I get criticized. But I tell you what, parents, actually, we don't talk about reading as going to school. Okay, we talk about reading as a sensory pathway. Okay, parents. So please write down see and hear. See and hear. Okay, very nice, right? Because I need you to understand that actually for a baby to learn to read, it's about seeing and hearing. It's not about drilling. And how many of you, right, parents? Now, this is interesting. I enjoy doing this with you, it's so fun because I'm going to show you this, right? Let me take a poll again, okay, parents? Learn with me, all right? How many of you are showing your baby this? How many of you, oops, where am I? Oops, I can't get this out. Let me see, all right. Oops, Okay, I think I have not in a while. Okay, how many of you parents are actually showing A, B, C to your baby? How many of your babies are watching? Hello, Ditas. Right, Ditas is one of our very, very senior coach as well. She's always with us. Okay, very good. Now, parents, tell me, right? Okay, nice. You say me, right? Yes, you type in me, right? If you are exposing your baby to not me, but he exposed to this in school, that's fine, that's fine. Yeah, many parents do say me, right? Excellent. Okay, now how many of you think that is ABC that will teach a child to read? Do you think ABC can help your baby to read? If you say yes, say yes. Okay, many of us will teach our baby ABC, okay, because we think that is the alphabets, right? And that's the first exposure. Right. Hello, Laura. Nice to have you back. I haven't seen you in a while. Yes, Raisha hasn't, right? Okay. And Wendy hasn't taught your baby ABC. Okay. Well, I'm not going to say good or bad. Okay, let me explain. ABC are just symbols. All right. They are symbols. Okay. And yeah, Jolene is in our program and yes, before, but you realize now it's quite meaningless, right? You see, parents, ABC are just 26 symbols. Okay, and these 26 symbols are actually just symbols that belongs to the alphabet, 26 of them. Do you know, parents, I must say that in our academy, right, knowing ABC doesn't mean anything. Okay, a child who can read the 26 alphabets, right, doesn't mean that that's extraordinary, because our children, right, all automatically can tell the ABC. Okay, and without me teaching my son ABC, I tell you what, because he did, I did what I did with him, right? What I knew and what I teach parents in the program. It shocked me that my 10-month-old baby was able to point out all the alphabets when I was just accidentally, talking about S, and he was and he pointed S, and then I realized that at 10 months, right, he was recognizing the letters very well. But that means nothing. Okay, ABC has no meaning, all right, but the word mommy has meaning, isn't it? So parents, just now you saw I put up the word, right, and when you see this, there's a meaning and there's a sound to it, okay? And then later on, the child attaches this to meaning. So parents, in fact, you don't have to stress about your child recognizing ABC, okay? You really don't have to. In fact, it's too easy for your baby, all right? And sometimes I tell the parents in my program, I said, it's just an insult to your baby's brain if we are insisting they must learn ABC too young. But no, they can see it like a game but like I said, the objective is not to teach them ABC. Okay, reading actually is really reading, which I will explain a bit more later. Okay, so parents, just want to talk about seeing and hearing, right? Now I'm going to show you the next chart. Okay, the next chart, and let me remove this and put up my chart. Okay, my next chart. Now, parents, look at this chart with me. All right, and I always start with the science, because once you understand the science, right, the rest you understand. Okay, parents, you look at this chart with me. Parents in my program do understand, right? In our academy, you know that you look at the white line and the blue line that started from birth, right? Parents, tell me, what do you see there? Okay, do you see the white line is actually the vision, white, right? Vision. And the blue line here, the blue line on top, right? Oh, I realized you cannot see my cursor, so I was pointing to, you couldn't see. But you see the two lines that started at the top at age 0, year 0. Okay, the most sensitive pathways are actually vision and hearing. Okay, seeing and hearing. All right. So I just need you to understand this chart simply. Okay, just to see that. Now I'm coming back. Okay, parents, are you learning well? If yes, okay, you're learning well. You say yes. Okay, so see. Just now I mentioned to you that reading is actually seeing the word mommy and saying, right, hearing it, right? So it says mommy, mommy many times. So one thing, parents, so the brain needs repetitive, but yet without boring your baby. Okay, there is a way that you can play with a baby without boring your baby. All right. And the next thing is that if you know that the hearing and seeing, right, are the most sensitive from birth, which means that your baby actually has already, okay, is already starting to read from birth. Do you know that? You don't know, but your baby is reading. But you see, parents, I need you to detach. Here, reading is not a school subject. You must know that, okay? No school, no school. Do not take the school approach. And which is why it's really interesting when I have parents who are teachers, who are preschool teachers, right? When they come to my program, hello, Gary. Really, welcome back. I haven't seen you in weeks. I hope you were watching my replay, Gary. Yeah. You know what, parents? Many parents, right, were thinking that, oh, I must put myself next to me. I must read, right? I'm coming more to that, okay? But reading really is a brain function. It's a neurological function, okay, parents? Okay, and Samantha agrees with me fully, right? Yeah, don't force your child to read and don't make your home a school, okay? Don't make reading boring. A lot of children, parents, don't worry about reading. I'll tell you why in a while, okay? Reading is very easy. Let me ask you, right, for you and me and many of us, do we have a early brain? Seriously, I always tell parents very honestly, right, very openly. Yes, we are the Early Brain Academy, but how many of us, right, or how many of you have been through an Early Brain Academy? How many of your parents taken up any early brain development program or have a Patricia, right, who ever talked to them about teaching you to read, right? But parents, let me ask you, can your child read? I mean, can you eventually read? Aren't you really reading? Okay. And so what I'm saying is that we all eventually can read. You agree? You agree, you type agree, or you give me a thumbs up. At least, a faster way is just hit the thumbs up, right? And then I see you floating out. At least I know. And you agree with me, please say yes. Because parents, I need you all to have the right attitude towards, nurturing your child. Okay, that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to make your child's life better. Okay, I'm doing this, right, to make your life better, because it really causes pain in my heart when I see parents struggling and I see children not enjoying, and that's something that I really find that this is really my calling, my mission today. So parents, I want you to know that we do not force a child to read, and all you have to do is just keep feeding the brain, okay? Thank you, Ditas, for affirming that, right? We see so many, isn't it? Okay, then parents, do give your baby, right, the time. Afterwards, I will wrap up with that, but think about, okay, not forcing your child into reading. No school below 3, even below 6 years old. Parents, just enjoy your child, nurturing your child. Okay, I know many of you are waiting for my webinar to introduce my program. Yeah, I know we are busy these last 2 weeks, really very much with our shifting, so a lot of things were kind of pushed back, and also because of the lockdown, and some workers are in dormitory, so there's a lot of waiting. So but I want to just give you a heads up that parents, do not force a school into your home, okay? But you see, because we were taught that way, and we were all being schooled, right, to read, so we only knew that way that we know. And I must say that yes, many parents then adopt what we know best, okay? And of course, if you're not properly taught, and when you go watch YouTube and people say this way, we do this way, and people say that way, right, you follow that way. But I hope I give you all the fact, the truth, and then you decide for yourself, okay? I always say you are the one to decide for your child, okay? So remember, reading is a brain function that requires seeing and hearing, okay? Then that brings me to the next, right, the next topic, next part, right, next segment, which how to hone reading habit. That because I know you are, I know you are rather concerned, right? Eventually, all of us want our children to read, isn't it? And then we, you see other children can read, and they're being compared, and you start to feel anxious, especially if your child is going to school and they still cannot read, right? I'm sure, right, parents? So I know I'm going to address that, okay? But a few things I want you to get it right is that you need to hone a habit, okay, parents? Hone a habit. Can you all please type in habit? I'm teaching you how to create habit, right? Young. And the habit comes from you. You have to have a habit, and your child will learn the habit, okay? I'm not asking you to read, if you're not a real reader, I understand. But you do need to walk the talk, but you need to demonstrate. You need to lead your child into it, okay? You lead. You are the parent. You lead, okay? Parents, you lead, all right? So how? Okay, please type in habits, okay? Reading is habit. Can you just type in while I talk about it, okay? Reading is a habit. And how do we hone that habit, right? A few things. Number one, parents, it is important that you read to your baby and not with your baby, okay? Do not read with your baby yet, but read to your baby. There is a difference between reading to your habit. Okay, so is habit the same as routine? Yes, routine forms habit. Okay, when you have a routine becomes habit. Good, good, Jacqueline. Yes, routine will become a habit. Okay, nice, nice. So how do we hone habit, right? Yes, you need to have a routine of reading, and routine means every day, every day. And parents, this is the best time to bond with your baby. Okay, yes, Apple. I just see your name. I won't forget that. Okay, yes, parents. Reading has to be done every day, but not forcing your baby. And there's a few ways. I need to teach you what not to do, okay? Because you know what? I mentioned reading is the visual pathways. And in fact, reading requires the eyes to be able to focus. So actually, a lot of parents are hurting their baby's brain, hurting their baby's focus, okay, to read if they try to make the baby read too young. That's why I said you read to your baby. Hello, Mitri. Good to see you. Yes, you read to your baby, okay, but not with your baby, okay? I'm going to tell you what's the difference. And in fact, if you have watched some of my video, you actually would have learned it. And parents who are in my program, I'm very sure you're very confident about this part, right? Okay. Now, parents, reading to your baby. Oh, okay, I need to twist my baby. Okay. Okay, now look at this, right? When we say reading to the baby, is that putting baby with you, right? Having a book in front of you, okay? And you read to your baby, okay? You read to your baby. So now I'm going to take my comments away so that you can see me. Okay, now, so parents, you read to your baby, isn't it? Okay, now, when you read to your baby, I can tell you this thing, right? When your baby sees this book, baby will be looking at pictures, okay? And mommy will be doing the reading. This is called reading to. So this is like, you will be reading to your baby. This is called reading to your baby. Now, parents, a few things you must do it correctly. Number one, do not point to the word and make your baby look at the word. Okay? Why? Because your baby's newborn up to like maybe 18 months to 2 years, depending. The visual pathways, okay, the visual pathway is not fully developed, parents, okay? The visual pathways of baby, right, up to, depending on their exposure and so on, to be very safe, okay? And up to 24 months, actually a lot of children's visual pathway is not fully developed. So what do I mean by that is that if the visual pathway is not fully developed, many books, right, okay, the words in there are actually too small for baby to read. So we don't think that you're pointing word for word and ask your baby to read or to focus, follow your hand is helping your baby. Actually, it's very bad. Okay, don't do that because we don't want to cause early myopia, and you also do not want to cause, dyslexic, because babies cannot focus, so that they try to, and actually you do not know how much hurt you are doing to your baby. Samantha, are there any specific books that I can recommend to read? Yes, I can in a while. There are plenty. But what I want to say is that you read to your baby any kind of books. But I will specify afterwards, okay? But parents in my program, of course, they learn a systematic program. They have a system, they do it every day. I have materials for them, and they use it with their children. This is I always tell my parents, you get a lot of a lot of premium, okay, in terms of in being the program. Right, Michelle, I will answer the question in a while. Okay, okay. You do not need to point word for word for your child. Michelle, I'm going to answer this question. It's really for you afterwards. Okay, so but I'm going to say this. You see, this word, right? To many of us adults, you think this is big, isn't it? This is a big book, and you can see it's quite a big. If I put my finger there, these words are already bigger than many of other books, and some children book. They can be quite small, isn't it? Never, parents, please do not point word for word. Just read for what? Okay, reading to your baby is only for auditory, really. For auditory input, for bonding, for your baby to hear you, your voice, and that time when baby has with you, right, the habits of you reading to your baby, very good. Auditory input, okay, and baby will enjoy the pictures only. Don't expect them to read. Okay, and that's one thing that you must get it right. All right, so I hope I've given you all the right things too. Number two, okay, in this part when I talk about how to hone that habit, right? Yes, Samantha was it Samantha who said routine. Mommy was saying routine just now. Yes, routine is one. Routine forms habit. Okay, let me see. Right, just now I had yeah. Okay, Jacqueline. Sorry, Jacqueline said right. Yes, habit is the same as routine. You start with the routine, and baby will want to read. You know, just like watching TV. You have a routine to watch TV. You know, baby will want to watch TV, and we talked about that last week already. Right, as past. So yes, what then you want to build a good routine, right? A good habit. Yes, reading. And the baby will want your bonding. And children who are being read to, this is called reading to your baby, okay? So reading to is only in. That's it, auditory, baby enjoy. Then the next question parents have for me, how about audiobook, right? You just switch on the audiobook, then can my baby listen to audiobook? Can. It's just that, you know, something is quite missing. It's very different hearing from mommy and daddy's voice reading. But of course, if in a day you're busy working and, you know, you want your baby to hear, right? Yes, audiobook is fine. You know, they read animatedly and so on. That's very fine as well. But I just want to say that the best, if you have time, read to your baby. Read to, not read. With means what? Baby actually is reading the word with you. Okay. Only parents in our Early Brain Academy, you are qualified to read with your baby because we make our homemade book. Okay. That's why that's the importance about homemade book. And I hope every time you're coming here, you're affirmed of the things they are doing as well, parents. Okay. So Samantha has a question. I'm going to answer that in a while. Michelle also has a question. Okay, so pointing discourage speed reading. Yeah, so that's so many of this, right? So, right. So when reading to a child, what we can, what do you mean by we can do something? Jacqueline, can you just be more, can you type in the specific for this? Okay, but I'm just going to go on. I'm just going to go on to talk about this. In fact, how to hone reading, right? I mentioned already, make a routine. If you could, right, parents, set up a shelf and you put in books. Okay, that's where the question of Samantha, what kind of books I recommend, right? Okay, I can tell you it can be any kind of book. And do have a good balance of encyclopedic based book and not just cartoons. In fact, actually, there is a way to hone reading, okay? And in GIQ, we also hone a habit of reading facts, okay? In our Early Brain Academy, previously we called GIQ program, but of course now we are rebranded. And our parents are still called our GIQ parents, right? Our learner parents, I call them. Yes, what kind of books, right? I'll tell you that, parents, it's okay to read any kind of books. Seriously, when you're reading to your baby, not with. Okay, with is baby actually reading the words with you, and it's another way which many of you parents really know baby is ready. Except parents are properly taught, they go through our system, and we do homemade book. Parents, that is where you are reading with your baby. That's why it's different. Okay, but generically, when you're reading, just read to your baby. All right. So that's number one. And if and Jacqueline has a just now. Okay, I'm going to address a few things because it's very nice, right? Really nice to see all your questions. I hope I can answer as many as I can. Okay, I try to group them together as well. Now, when you talk about what kind of material to give, right? Like I mentioned, it can be any books. In fact, this book is called Eyes, Nose, Fingers, and Toes. Okay, and parents want to know. Parents who are in my program, they were taught. Okay, they have to introduce at least 3 encyclopedic based book and then 1 storybook. And we don't really show cartoon books for a start. But again, parents, don't do that to your baby if you're not in my program, because it's a very different way of inculcating the reading habit. Okay, because in our academy, we have a process, we have a proper system, and it won't bore your child. But if you're not, just read any kind, it's still good because you're reading to your baby. Because our parents learn is reading with the baby. Okay. But, any kind. Let me show you some of the books that my son was reading. He's now 12, okay? But these were the books that he was reading at 2 years old, okay? These were the book at about 18 months, right? These are the books that my son was reading, all right? So if you ask me, right, you should read these to your child, okay? Reading to your baby, okay? These are encyclopedic-based books, parents? And some publisher I would really recommend, I personally recommend, is... okay, I would recommend the Ladybird. This series is the Ladybird series, okay? And you could get Osborne, the very credible publisher. and scholastic, okay, and some well, National Geographic is very rich in the print, and as National Geographic, right? But if you talk about the depth of language, for generic reading is okay, but parents in my academy, I would say that they have other series and a formal system to follow. Okay, so it's quite different, huh, parents? So don't those who are in my academy, that you learn a much deeper way, and you have the material to follow. So okay, I'm going to address one by one. Okay, before I go on, because otherwise I might miss. Okay, I'm just going to put up your question. I hope I answer. Okay, I will address. Now, are there any specific books which I've just mentioned? Okay, try to introduce encyclopedic-based book, factual books, right? But parents, just read to your child. Don't try to over-explain. When you're reading to your child, you know that our babies can learn so fast. So one of the things, right? What a lot of parents do tend to do, I don't want to say. I feel I used to like to joke, grandmas, right? Don't take offense. I always say I'm going to be 50, so can be called a grandma. But I always say the grandma joke, but we like to over explain things. We like to tell more, right? No, just read and let your child explore. Read the pictures and talk to your baby after that as well. Okay, have a conversation. And Michelle says, can you start pointing? Okay, for Michelle's question, because Michelle is actually in our program. Okay, so Michelle very much wants to know, when can you point, right? Okay, let me tell you that I would say that no need to point. You don't have to point, because of the matter of how you have been honing that reading habit, right? There's no doubt. Okay, if you continue reading the way we teach you, you will see that it becomes speed reading. Okay, it's actually speed reading and not so much reading. Okay, I can tell you that my son was speed reading very early as well. So he didn't really like to read to me. I used to ask him to read to me. And, of course, as a parent, it's very gratifying when you hear your child reading back to you. But I realized that, he actually was speed reading. And reading, pointing word for word, actually, right, is slows him down. So avoid pointing, because really there's no need to point. Okay, your baby's eyes can flow, and your baby knows the sight and sound already, because you're my program. That's why I'm saying that to you. Okay, so then coming back to, does pointing discard? Yeah, correct. That's why we don't do pointing. Okay, so Jolene, you got it right. Yes. Okay. Yeah, reading to a child. Yeah, Jacqueline, I'm not sure. Can you just send me another clearer message yeah. Okay, point to the picture and say, look, here's monkey. Okay, is it good? Okay. Well, okay, parents. Reading, okay, there's a few things, right? You when you want to do reading, right, try to read fluently. Just read, do not pause. Just read, so that your child has a habit also of fluent reading the book. Okay, after you finish, you can revisit again, go back. Okay, now let's look at the picture. Then you focus at the picture. Okay, parents, if you can do that, okay, don't try to achieve too many things at one time. All right, so you read, right? Okay, so let's read. So you just read. So you make it a habit. You know what, parents? A lot of children. I'm just foretelling for you, because all of you have very young children. But knowing my what I do, and of course my profession, and my son's 12 now, right? And of course I see secondary school kids, and I was also upon a time adjunct lecturing also, right, in the poly. What happens to parents? A lot of children, a lot of youth, right? They don't like reading, but they like reading comics. Okay, to the extent that there is some science publisher, they end up publishing comic-based science books. There are a few out there, that if you go to Popular Bookstore or some bookstores, you see. Why? Because children are so used to seeing pictures, and this is a habit, you see. Because if we, so that is make our objective very clear. Okay, parents, you read, right? You read. Make a habit to just read fluently, so that your child learns, right, fluency in reading. Then you finish reading one round, close the book, go back. Okay, now let's look at the picture. Then you go and read again, and then you do the picture. Okay, parents, can you do that? Okay, I hope I give you a very good tip here. Okay, read one round, then you go back and see the pictures again and talk about it. Okay, so that you at least have your child's habit to do fluent reading first. But not the child reading, but at least he hears a fluent story. Okay, and let your child perceive the picture. Then you go back. Yes, you talk about monkeys and all that. It's very nice, because that is called bonding already, right, Sha? This process, right, that you're talking about monkey, your baby pointing back to you, this is called interaction. Okay, that's called bonding. All right. So you need to have your objective very clear. So when reading, can we modify? Oh, okay. You're talking about modifying the story. Jacqueline, certainly, because your baby is not reading what's inside there yet, you may modify the story. But again, if you're modifying, are you going back to the previous question about pointing at the pictures, discussing the pictures, trying to create a new story? Well, I would say that you could, but you know what I'm saying, right? Keep your objective right, okay? And Parizad, read and at the end of the story, ask him, oh, okay, you can, but don't, okay, one thing we don't advocate in the academy also is testing. So we don't like try to ask questions to see how much your child understand, like a comprehension session. Okay, so avoid doing comprehension, but I do encourage you to talk to your baby about what you read about, okay? Do you like the monkey? Which one do you prefer? Ask your child about how they feel rather than like a comprehension-based question. What do you think the monkey did after that? Not that kind, okay? But please, ask, yes, related to questions. So, for example, it could be talking about, do you prefer the monkey or the elephant? Why do you like the monkey? That kind of conversation, very good, okay? And when you talk to the baby, that's very nice interaction. And you get baby to talk. Okay, and talk about the characters, and then you can tell baby how you feel as well, right? Jillian, you're talking about your baby Elijah prefer non-fiction book to fairy tale. Excellent. Parents, fairy tale comes along the way, cartoons come along the way, but then you know what? Okay, many parents will learn it right from the beginning of our Early Brain Academy program. Our babies actually prefer to read facts, truly, because they know that they see the world, they learn the world. That's why they have a higher level cortex function, okay? Quite different, but I would say that even parents who are in the live streaming session, right, you're benefiting a lot because you're already building, okay, just that our parents is talking about developing a high achiever, so it's quite different. But yes, they like facts. So, but you see, because, right, you build a habit. We started with doing facts, right? And you don't encyclopedic knowledge. That's why you build a habit, okay? Yeah, so Parizat have similar ones. Very good. Yes, Leapfrog is good. Leapfrog is good. I used to have reading pen as well and the story for my son even. But at the end of the day, right, he still enjoys reading by himself. He has a lot. He could read very early. Okay. If English isn't her first language. Okay, now if let's say if you want to hone language which is not the first language, parents, if you are keen to learn that, it has to be another session, quite a big thing to talk about learning multiple language. But okay, if English isn't the first language, it's still very easy. I can tell you, if your child is below 3, right, they can learn any language as like their first language, so it's what we adult can provide for the child. Parents, let me tell you what, many of our children, right, they can easily learn multiple language. Okay, I can share with you my own case. Actually, I'm not very fluent in doing Chinese with my son. But my parents are in my academy. You know that I give my son very early English. Not going to school. I talk about the brain stimulation, right? Using what I teach you all to do. Using the English language. But I still also give him the sight and sound of Chinese vocabulary without conversations, because I'm not good with that, and I can't even finish reading a Chinese storybook fluently without having to refer back to find out the name of certain character. But I just give him sight and sound from birth, right? Guess what, my son Chinese is very good. He's the other way around. Okay, I'm explaining this the other way around. The same thing for your child. Actually, it doesn't matter. Just give a child the reading, but it really depends on the environment you build. Today, my son will read any English books, but Chinese he wouldn't pick up. But he enjoys learning Chinese in school. He does academically very well in Chinese, but he just wouldn't pick up a Chinese book to read. That's all. Okay, because that's not his first interest. He has his choice, right? But it's okay. I don't force him, but he's enjoying and he's doing excellently well in Chinese, right? And I'm happy. So parents, I hope I have addressed your question, Samantha. Just let your child enjoy. Give your child as much visual auditory, and if English is what you want her to learn, she can. Okay, so can we modify? Okay, Jacqueline, I've already answered that. Yes, you may modify and make it interesting for your child. Okay, but like I said, you still have to go back to understanding the meaning and reason why you're reading to your child. So sometimes you just want to input, okay, to your baby, and be as factual. So young, like 3 to 4 months, right? Not sitting yet. Yes, okay. Yeah, you don't have to put baby in a sitting position. Okay, parents, my blooming joy, who started my blooming joy, diametry and so that. We try not to sit a baby before their spine are strong. Okay, in my other sessions, I talked about putting baby on the belly, get their spine strong. That's another session again. Okay, but don't do that. Put baby lie down. Okay, don't need to show baby book. Really, Charlotte, you don't have to show baby the book. Because when you are reading to your baby, you are giving auditory stimulation, auditory input, and very importantly, it is more about your touch and your voice. But it is different. It's not about reading. Okay, parents, I really want to, I will close by talking much more about reading, but I need to get your understanding right, your attitude right towards that. Okay, and it's important for you not to see reading as a school subject, and do not think of reading as how we perceive reading as, because parents, we are very anxious to have a child to read, to want to read, right? But don't focus on that. I tell you from the beginning that we all can read eventually, so reading is not difficult. It is understanding. Parents, is understanding that is important, okay? All of us can read eventually, but if you go to a school, right, what differentiates a student, right, a A and a B or a C student, is not how much. Everybody can read the same textbook, isn't it? But it's how much they can understand and analyze, right, and process the fact, parents. So get the fact, get your understanding right too. And so, but of course, yes, you all say they must first know how to read, but everybody else can read, right? So, okay, so parents, I hope I get you your okay, just born, read to your child, because the auditory input is tremendous, okay? And for Charlotte's question, yes, as young as from birth, your love, your reading, and even at 3 to 4 months, right? When you read, let's say, for example, you may be reading a book and say, oh, and mother rabbit tickles baby rabbit, then you can just do a little tickle. So baby understand, oh, the word tickle means like, it feels like that. That's all. Okay, so that kind of interaction is beautiful. All right, I hope I have answered a question. Do not have to sit up, baby. You don't sit. Baby can be lying down and you can be reading to your baby. In fact, I tell you what, many of you know that I have my faith in Christianity. I read the Bible to my son from birth, right? Even when in the womb. So yeah, I read, right? And he's good, very grounded today. Okay. Now, Jacqueline, my son will stop you to commit, or he will flip back to previous page, look at pictures. Okay. That's fine. But also, it also goes back to how was the early reading habit? Okay, how was it formed? Maybe it has been, he focused on pictures, but sometimes they do enjoy seeing the pictures. It's okay. But what I'm saying is that we adults, right, need to go on, and you may also control. It's within our control. So you may want to say, hold on, mommy is reading to you. Just read, and then you can, let your child learn as well. Let your child learn respect. Okay, so yes, it's like, let's finish reading. Okay, we'll go back and look at the pictures. So things like that. So actually, you're also honing understanding. You're building understanding with your child. Okay, so parents, difference between reading to and reading with your baby. Okay, now just now I talked about reading to your baby, right? It's just reading without pictures. And yes, reading with your baby actually does require baby to read with you. But I must say that it does require a proper stimulation, giving baby a proper program before we can make a baby to read with you. Okay, yes, but if your child is above 3 and about 4 onwards, right? If you have not done my academy program, yes, it's time to read with only after 3, when the visual pathway is fully developed, and you can have a child read with you by sitting next to you. And that's the time that if you want to point, only for parents who are not in the program, because parents who are in our program, you don't, even at 4 or 5 years old, you don't point word for word, because pointing actually causes the child to read word for word, and that's reading phonetically, right? And that doesn't process what they have been reading fast. Okay, but it's just a different way of reading. But parents who are just honing reading from, just may not have been through our academy, you still get a reader. You eventually will still get a reader. It's just then, but from about 4 or 5 years old onwards, yes, you may suit your baby, you may point for them, because they haven't honed that speed reading ability. So then it's okay, because if they haven't honed that, then they will read word for word or phonetically with many other babies who eventually go to school. So That is quite a difference. Okay, so I hope you understand the difference. Reading with your baby only after 3, about 4 or 5, before they go to school. Yes, you may then start have your child read, but by then, parents, you see, the danger is that a lot of children also may not want to read with you because they're so used to you reading to them. I have a mother that I know, right, a friend of mine. Her daughter was 4 years old when I knew her. My son was 3, 1 year younger than daughter. She realized that my son was able to read well and understand, right? And she was anxious. She came to me and, Patricia, can you teach my daughter to, I said, how? She asked me that question. Do you read to your son every day? I said, yes, I do. In fact, he's reading a lot independently by himself. And then she says, how do you get him to read? Because she says, this friend of mine, she said, she read to her daughter from birth for 4 years, right? Every night. Yeah, she has a reading habit, which the daughter enjoys. The bonding, the listening to mommy reading. And every time she reads, yeah, she told me she point the words, she will see the pictures. But at 4 years old, the daughter still doesn't want to read by herself. Then I said, well, my program, I can't really introduce my program to you because mine is on 3 years below. Because remember, the visual auditory pathways were most sensitive. Just now when I showed you the picture, right? And parents who came in a bit later, you see they're more sensitive, right? Okay, let me take this away. Okay, in the first 1, 2, okay, if you look at the white line and this blue line, right? Vision and hearing, parents. Y'all can't see my arrow, so I can't point. But if you see, right, it starts to dip where? It starts to dip at 2.5 to 3 years old. That is why it's very effective to do visual auditory stimulation, right? That the child eventually can read, because that is a brain function, okay, that lets a child to read. So that's why in our program, children who are between 0 to 3 years old, we actually do, right, stimulation. We have materials. And so that's where we capture that we call, I think parents, you all have heard me, right? The exponential window of opportunity. The exponential windows of opportunity, okay? And we capture that part. And so I always tell parents, right, even you finish doing 2 years of what we teach you, continue to keep the habit. Your child eventually can read. But you are actually building a higher cortex function, which is understanding, analysis as well, okay? So yeah, don't be anxious about just reading. To me, reading is too easy for many children to hone. Okay, but hone understanding. So coming back, I hope I have touched on this. And okay, then I have a question here. I think I have a question. Let me see, right? Okay, I'm going to put some of the question. Okay, so okay, now I think I've missed out so many of you. Okay, baby enjoys reading, but now learning a lot. Very good, Connie. I'm so happy. Yes, continue to read to your baby, huh? Read to without pointing. Okay, we don't want a child to don't be anxious about that. Seriously, a child can read. My son read very early. Okay, I'm gonna answer that in the third question. Can the child easily pick up Chinese at age of 4? Can. If you can provide that visual auditory input, your child can pick up. Okay. Yes. Without words and it's just picture, create a story. Can you please do that? That is bonding. I can tell parents you need to differentiate. This is really called bonding. Okay. So that's why I said, reading comes in many forms and many people have different definitions as well. So yeah, you read with your child a story and you point out and create a story. That's good, creative, right? Yeah, and hey, Veronica, good to have you back. Yeah, Patricia is very relieved now. Do you have any Bibles? Sorry, yeah. Oh, Alcinta, I have so many. My new academy, right? When you come, I have a whole series of different. My son grew up with Bible, right? From infant to toddler to every age, I had different Bibles. You come, I'll show you. Okay, when we open, you come back very soon. All right, Alcinta. Yes, and if you are keen, I can show you some earlier if we can't go back. Okay, yeah, but if you don't have Chinese background, it's hard. You can't. I do have many parents in our academy who are non-Chinese speaking. They can't. Then and sometimes I audit them as well. Some parents who may be Chinese, but when they don't read accurately, right? Then I don't encourage them to do it too, okay? Because the early auditory input is very important. Hello, Veronica. Nice to have you. Now, wow, yes, Jacqueline, how much, right? okay, in the same book for at least, I tell you what, my son liked to read the same book for 6 months, the same book until I felt like, every day he wanted the same few books. But I can tell you why. Because to him, right, that reading was his comfort food like that. And also that's reading with mommy, okay, bonding on my lap, that is what they want. Okay, that is what my son wanted. I can tell. I mean, though he didn't talk, that time, but my son read the same book for 6 months. So 2 weeks is too short. Okay, but Jacqueline, as much as they like, just do it, because to them, reading to the baby at that point, right, is really bonding. It's really bonding time only. It's not even reading the same story that what we perceive. Okay, yeah. So I hope I have addressed many of your questions, and please keep your questions coming in. I enjoy answering them. Okay, and when is the right time to teach your baby to read? Parents, when? Okay, actually, there's no. I would say that the right time in our academy context is as soon as the baby is born, we start to build that visual auditory pathways already. Yeah, Jacqueline. Okay, so I tell you what, we start building that visual auditory pathways, and we're not driving that. Oh, can you read eventually? That's always how our parents don't. When you are doing the program using our material, you do not think about can you read. Every time you show your child, is that. But it's not about that. It is used for bonding. Okay, it is used for really for the child to see and hear. We're just trying to hit the synapses. Remember, parents, you learned about synapses last week, right? And synapses connect, okay, when you do enough repetition, frequency of hearing and seeing the same thing. So yes, our parents have a system and we teach them what to do. But parents, if you're not in the system, don't worry, okay? I just want you to be assured that a child eventually still can read. But it's just but I want you to know that focus on building understanding before reading. Parents, can you all please type in, right? Okay. Understanding. Please type in understanding. Understanding is more important than reading. Okay, then how do we hone understanding, right? Okay, it's a huge science. Okay, now parents, that's why I say your child must have understanding, isn't it? And understanding analysis. Do you agree with me? If you agree with me, right, you type it down. Okay, I must say, I've seen many children who go for occupational therapy. Okay, for as they learning disability. Okay, developmental issues. In terms of learning, I'm talking about going to school. Okay. So what happens is that I see many children who go to school and they have problem understanding. Okay, I know of a boy, okay, up to even like 8 years old, he goes to school, and at the point when I heard the teacher really said he had to go for checkup, psychological issue. Why? Because he speaks good English, right? He was able to articulate well, and this boy was reading very well. He can read to you. He can stand up and read with expression. Okay, and he was actually a very good student in school in terms of he doesn't give you a problem and he communicate well, come from a proper English speaking family, really. Okay, and a very good family background. He reads well. Every novel he reads, he can talk to you. He can answer and tell you what he read. But when it comes to school exam, right, he read, but he couldn't. He knows he can talk to you, but he just couldn't piece things in proper sequence. He couldn't express it, and he couldn't understand. Reading out loud and understanding is two different functions. You see, parents understand. So I just want you to know that your bonding with your child and so on is good, but understanding requires the frontal cortex. Parents, last week we had a very deep brain session, right? Every time you all will learn about the brain, everything starts from there. Okay. No, well, no need to make cards. There's no need to make cards, actually. Actually, see, Michelle, what you have enough already, what we've given you. But you are actually, okay, what do you say? Find that recognize when using, okay. But you stop making, no need to make. Actually, tell you what, we don't test whether the child can recognize the word or not, okay? We will have to revisit Michelle, okay, because we'll have a chat about that. I will take note of that, and we'll do a quick review chat with you, because and when I do review chat, it's nothing about the child, okay? It's a lot about giving parents the right understanding. But what I want to say is that it is not about whether the child recognizes the word. They will, and we don't want them to feel being pressed to read the word out to us, okay? So we actually let them play, right? So you just play as much as you can. In workshop 4, you learn that, right? And when we talk about books, right? Homemade book, continue and turn your home into a library as well. Give a little library. These are all what our parents learn. But parents, those who have not encountered our academies program, which I mentioned to you, I'm still coming up with a webinar to share with you all more about the brain before you can even explore the academies program. Is that parents, you do need to focus on understanding. So understanding comes from your interaction, right? Okay, and when understanding, we talk about the frontal cortex work. Okay, so this is where it's a huge science, and our parents take about 12 to 15 months to really work on it. All right, there's a system and a way to do it, but without that, you can still build understanding. I've been telling you all along, right, about talking about the book, okay, and also the bonding time is important. The eye contact with you, the baby, okay. And last week, I think I talked about giving instructions, right, for your baby to follow. So these are okay, but seriously, if you, of course, you want to have a high achiever, a child who really can achieve, understand higher, you need a proper system. But seriously, it is a 12 months to 15 months effort, okay, our parents embark on and commit to doing with our baby. So yeah, I will share more, but let's say because of the whole COVID and so on, I've really redesigning a lot of things. Content is there even richer, but I need you to know is that understanding, parents, understanding. Thank you for affirming that. Okay, so I want you to focus. But if you talk about wanting to teach your child to read, right, visual auditory stimulation. Okay, and well, at least when you read to your baby, you are giving auditory input. And the same book is good, actually, Jacqueline, because when a child hears it over and over again, actually is connecting the synapses. So how early do you teach your baby to read? My answer to you is that actually when you have a proper system, I must say that it's as early as from birth, because we do provide early stimulation, visual auditory from birth. Okay, and so and how early? Well, you see, I started doing with my son right from birth, and I just let him be without teaching ABC, without even knowing that he could read. I let you see this, but parents, I always say I'm very careful about sharing this video, because then it creates a lot of anxiety. So before I show you, right, please, yeah, Jacqueline, he can memorize the book. Yeah, right. You see, so parents, I'm going to show you a short video to show you that actually children can read, right, as young as 18 months, reading with understanding. All right, our focus is reading with understanding. And please, for parents watching replay, okay, I'm going to show you a video that my son could read very early, okay, and he could understand as early as, like I said, these were all his book, and he would read them when he was just about 20 months, before he even turned 2. Okay, these were all, and he just consume, and the knowledge that he liked, right? But I never taught him ABC, never taught him phonics. But the surprising thing was that my son, right, surprised me by asking me questions about words around. I said, hey, how come he can read by reading those words? He was asking me questions. I said, oh, he actually could read. Then that was how, I started my research about the early brain. Okay, so that's why, of course, parents are in my program more and more affirm that we just want to build a better brain. And all of you know that your baby has better brain. Okay, reading comes later. But if it comes earlier, well, it's a bonus. Okay, like me, it's a bonus because my son was reading very early. So I want to affirm you, parents, actually, and it's nothing freaky, because so my parents don't misunderstand that my son never went to school, never read ABC, but he could read very clearly. Okay, and all this comes with many other.
Cause, flats, and landslides. Don't grab from when the air is hot and wet.
Okay, now parents, you see, right? My husband wasn't taught. He didn't learn from me that time. He was, pointing. That's the only blur video I had taken from my very lousy, that time was before all the smartphone came out. This was taken, I think, from low end, I think either an Ericsson, the early batch, or my iPhone 3. But my point is that you're not to point. We're not supposed to point the words. But at that time, my husband just pointed. But my son was bonding with the daddy. He was, in a way, reading to the dad. But could you give me a feedback that you were able to watch the video well? Were you able to hear the reading clear? Are you able to hear? If you are, right, give me hit the thumbs up so that I can see you floating the thumbs that you could hear. Okay, can you just hit that or just type can hear? Yeah. Okay. Now Jacqueline said memorize the whole. Yes, our children definitely have a very good memory in that. Okay, Samantha, you could hear, right? Okay, that was Raphael reading when he was at about 20 months old. 20 months. Okay, that was reading at about 20 months. And let me tell you, thank you. Yes, I can see the interaction now. Okay, very good. Yes, Yuki. But like I say, parents, do not be anxious. I just want to prove to you, it's basically just a proof that actually our children can read before 3. Okay, but we don't compare. We do not expect that from the child. Parents, please, I want you to know that your children actually can start reading, okay? But there's a system that our parents who are in our program do that, okay? But we also tell the parents, right? No testing, no expectation, okay? So this is what I say, right? Do not compare your child with another. That's why I hardly show this video of my son reading, okay? And many of our other parents are sending me videos seriously about their children reading. In fact, I have a mother, right? She's more Chinese speaking. And she started my program very late, when her son was about 2.5 years old. Okay, and she was so proud of her son when he was 3.5. He was reading Chinese 成语. China parents who are here, 成语, right? He was reading all the 成语in the book, the card, and the mother was very happy, and she sent me, the video of her son reading very clearly, and I'm very proud of her that she really did that, right? And so parents, but again, I have many videos of parents sending these, but I also have parents who have been doing our program, coming back and asking, is my child reading yet? When can I know my child's reading? I always tell parents, please, then that's the wrong expectation. We don't test and we don't want to expect, but I want you to affirm and tell me, yes, I know my child has a better brain. My child is more mature. My child, has a better processing. You all know a problem is a problem solver. That's what we want to know. Okay, if you're in my program and your child is all that, right, give me a big YES capital letter. Okay, it's not about reading. It is about building that frontal cortex that can process. Okay, reading is a very low end function. It's just seeing and hearing. Okay, so even memorizing, right? A child may show you that they're memorizing, which is good. That's the hippocampus function. Okay, hippocampus sits in the temporal lobe, and it does, help in memory. But parents, again, go back to talk about, yes, every child is unique. That's why I want to say, do not compare. So, okay, you have my word, right? I show you this special video, and parents watching replay, don't watch the video and expect, my son become anxious, because I can tell you that my son met a friend when he was 5, and the boy was a year older than him, couldn't read still. And then the parents become quite anxious, go back and start to compare and ask the child why you cannot read and so on. So that's not right. Okay, you must know what you have provided for your child in order for your child to know how to read. So yes, Yuki agree with me, right? Do not compare. Do not expect anything from your child. Let your child show you, okay? So you want your child to be mature. Yeah, you see, very good. You see, Michelle, that's right. Very mature, that's what you want, okay? So please, reading is very, you will come. And by the time the reading come, yes, right, Mitri, you also agree. These parents will say big yes, right? Yes, yeah, in my program as well. Isa, you're going to be, huh? Yeah, no testing. Okay, so all our parents who are in our program, you affirm that, right? That you know that your baby is definitely, able to understand. They build that kind of function. Reading, I'm not discouraging. As parents, I don't want to say, dismiss the importance of reading. Okay, I'm not saying that too. I want you all to, because this is where, parents, get misquoted, right? I hear many people get misquoted, but parents, and in Osinta too, I know you all have very, very good feedback about a baby. That parents do understand that reading comes naturally, okay? And you get a better brain up there. Reading comes whether now or later, your child can read naturally. But what we want is your child who enjoys that bonding time without stress, your child who has a more mature brain, okay, a child who can analyze, who has the patience to focus. Focus, very important, parents. If your child can focus, your child can read. Okay, focus in terms of, being able to see the word, right? I'm able to focus it. Okay, that is what we want to work on. And that is the frontal cortex work. Okay, and so reading, just shown, I want to say that actually reading is from birth. Okay, when you do proper stimulation, but not when I say reading again, right? My qualification of reading is, how parents who are in my academy, yes, they have a proper system, they have a proper program that eventually leads to that reading function. Okay, and for parents who are not enrolled yet into our academy, just continue to read to your baby, do that bonding. This is all very important, okay, because the auditory input is important, and you're building an early habit. The habit to read, okay, is important. Okay, so I hope I've addressed many of the questions. If I've missed anything out, parents, please send me message as well. After this, I always take that, right? I will try to address it, whether I send back replies and so on. But I hope I'm really clear in delivering today's topic. And if you need me to clarify anything, please ask. Please type. I see that my 1 hour again today, but I hope you are learning a lot. Okay, and parents, before I let you go, I want to give you this word. Okay, before I let you go to see your baby in bed, let your child take his time to show you that he can read. Okay, so no testing, no comparing, no expecting, because many children psychologically, when they know mommy is expecting me to perform, and if they are not ready, right, you can actually take away their confidence. You can actually cause the reverse effect on causing them to lose confidence, to attempt to read. Okay, hello Geraldine. Okay, so parents, I hope you understand. I'm talking about psychology, that's later. Okay, which I didn't even plan to put it in today, but I'm so glad to tell you that let your child take his time to show you that he can read. Can you agree with me? If you do, right, can you just put it and say I agree? Okay, you have the I, not just agree. I agree. Okay, you agree to this. Let your child take his time. Don't stress your child. Don't pressure. But I can tell you naturally, one day your child can read. But like I said, you want to talk about a book, you want to interact with your child because you want to hone understanding. Okay, naturally reading comes. All right. So I do not think you should be anxious about it. Okay, but you can actually start to build that bonding. Parents bonding is important. Reading to your child. And if you really want to build a reading capability, well, do explore later. When I put in my live webinar, all of you, I mean, I know many of you have told me before that you all want to watch my web, because in the webinar, that's where I would, you see parents, a few parents actually even here are inquiring to enroll for our program. But I will say that we do not enroll parents until they understand the brain function properly, when they are properly educated. And that is what I deliver in the live webinar, where you actually hear about the brain function and what actually I need you to come in with the right understanding attitude, because we do select the parents we work with, and we need parents who are like-minded, and we want to dismiss some kiasu, that somehow parents that we do not take in as well. Okay, so that one we come later. All right, parents, I'm glad that you agree with me. Thank you. And Michelle says yes, and you need to be very committed, because parents, you only have 3 years to commit to your baby. Okay, and you don't want to take the rest of your child's life to commit to your baby. You commit 3 years, and in fact not even 3 years, right, Michelle? 2 years only, and you start to see all the output from your child. Okay, so once you're in there, right, that and so on, say that let your child take his time. Okay, no forcing. And if those of you who want to learn deeper, right, we will talk about that. Okay, I will invite you for our live webinar. And I did ask you to parents, later on I could send you a personal message when we invite you. Okay, and Samantha is an early child in the childcare, right? And you agree with me? Certainly, yes. So parents, I hope you have learned a lot today and you have benefited. And if you have, right, give me a thumbs up, and our good night, right, is always typing in joy. Okay, please type in your joy, and I would like to see you typing in joy, and I will let you go. Okay, so I say good night to you, and just type in joy. Okay, if you have learned a lot and you're happy with what you have learned, right, and there's so much that you have gained. Yes, Samantha, I really appreciate your joining us as well. Really, Oh, Wendy, I want to see, is that yes, joy. Is that a symbol for joy, okay? Yes, very nice. Okay, yes. Thank you, for that. And yes, please Steffi, your joy. I love every time, after this, I always go back to watch again, what you all have typed in. And it really brings me much joy. Sometimes I watch, and if you all don't see me replying, right, to your typing here, sometimes I put a thumbs up. I actually sometimes watch until I kind of fell asleep on Tuesday nights, But you all have brought me a lot of joy to parents. I want to thank you for that. You are my joy as well, as much as your children are. Because parents, you know what? When you have the joy of learning, that's where your child also have the joy of learning. Yes, Jolene, you are also one of my top students. A lot of my students are here as well. And parents, yes, yes, I was into joy, yes. So I want to let you go. I really don't like to say goodbye. I will see you again next week, right? Tuesday, 9:30. If there's any topic, right, that you really feel that want me to talk about, you may. In fact, I have much joy myself, right? Really, spending this time with you. No matter how tired, I look forward because you are learning so well. So my learners' parents, I'll see you again. God bless you. Good night, and you take care, all right? So joy to you. Much joy to you. Okay, good night.